and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we will be looking at Tunisian crochet color work. If this is your first time, thank you very much for stopping by. My name is Mirka and I make stitch and pattern crochet and Tunisian crochet tutorials. So if this is of your interest, please consider subscribing. Let me know what you think about today's tutorial in the comments section below. Give it a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's dive in. Today I'm going to show you a simple Tunisian crochet color work, in particular in Tunisian simple stitch. So you can have a color work where you start in one color and at some certain point in a row you will continue with a different color. Like on these two rows where I started with the blue and then I continued with the yellow. Now there is another way how you can make a color work with two colors, three colors, or however many you like, is where you work at a forward pass in one color and return pass in a different color. As you alternate the colors, it will create this beautiful effect. And another way how you can work color work in Tunisian crochet is where the forward pass is in one color always and the return pass is in different color. So there are other types such as stranded color work and intarsia, but I'm not going to be touching on this because I consider these more advanced types of color work, and I will be showing those in future tutorials. So first we will be working a row of Tunisian simple stitch. So we need to start with the slip knot. Then we chain of however many stitches we need. So for the purpose of this demonstration, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to chain 9 for 9 stitches. We will then work into the bumps of the chains. If this is too fast for you, and you are just coming across Tunisian crochet, I would recommend you to pause this video, find my video on Tunisian simple stitch. I will link it in the description section down below, where I go over the basics very slowly, and then you can return back to this video and look at how we work the color work. So I've got the forward pass on my hook, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stitches. Now we will work the basic return pass of chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. I will work one more row in green so that it shows up nicer. So we are going to work Tunisian simple stitches. So we will work under the front vertical bar, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we will work these stitches to the end of the row. Once we get to the end of the row, the last stitch is slightly different and we will be working under 2 bars. So the easiest way how to do that is you turn the fabric, the end of the fabric towards you, and you work under those 2 bars, the right and the left, yarn over and pull up a loop, and this will secure a nice edge for you. So that's forward pass of the row number 2. We yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again we will work the basic return or the standard return pass. And the easiest way how to do color work in Tunisian crochet is to do several rows in one color and then change to second color or third color and work several rows in other color. So what we do is we work a row in our main color, which for me is green. Then once you get to the end, you will work edge stitch, work standard return pass, and once you get to last 2 loops, this is where you bring your second color in, and this is to create a nice smooth transition. So if you continue with your green, I'll show you. If you continue with your green to the very end of your row, and now you will bring the blue. So the way I like to do it is I hold a loop in my hand, I work under the next stitch, place the loop on the hook and pull up a loop. You can see that even though you intend to do the second row in your contrasting color, the look is not perfect because the first loop is in green, and this is because of the way Tunisian crochet is worked, where the last stitch that you work is the first stitch of the next row. So that's why we need to pull this out, pull the last yarn over, pull through 2, where we've got 2 loops on our hook, and this is where we bring the second color. This is where we attach the yarn, pull through 2, and as you can see, the first stitch of the next row is in your desired color, and then we can work a row, 2 or 3 or however many you like in the contrasting color, and we will be working the forward and the return pass in your desired color. So I will do 1 and then I will change back to green, working standard return pass of chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and again, and now I'm getting the last 2 loops. While I'm on the last 2 loops, I'll bring my green back from the back of my project. So I bring the green, I yarn over, pull through 2, and this gives me the first stitch of my next row in my desired color, and I can continue with green from there. And this is what you would repeat for any other color. If you would like to work 2 rows in your main color and then again 1 row in your blue, you can carry the blue along the side. So I will show you how to do that, or you can just pull it, bring it when you need it. Okay, so once we are on the last 2 stitches, I'll bring the color up around the green. Okay, I would yarn over, pull through 2, and this brought my green a row up. As you can see, it's up 1 row. So if I wanted to do another row in green and then bring my blue back, so I would do 2 rows of green to 1 row of blue. When I now pick up the blue, the float at the back is not long because it didn't have to cross over two rows. Okay, so I'm at the end. Now I bring my blue up, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, as you can see, instead of having a 1 long strand from there all the way there, I secured it in between on the first row of green. So if you are working on something like pillow where this would be on the inside of your project, this is not a problem, even if your floats are longer, even if you carry them over 2 or 3 rows. However, on something like blanket or garment, this can be a problem because you can pull on these strands and then it would this would distort the look of your work. So what I'm going to do, we've got 9 stitches, so I will work 3 stitches in one color or 4, and then I will join in the second color. So the first loop, which is already on the hook, counts as a first stitch, so we'll need to do 3 more Tunisian simple stitches like so. So we've got 4 loops on the hook now, and I'm going to bring my second color So for this tutorial I decided to go with the blue. So what I tend to do is I don't make a slip knot on the second yarn that I'm joining. I only create a loop with my fingers like so, and I hold the loop. And now this where it gets a little bit fiddly, but you will get there with a little bit of practice. So we go into the next stitch as if we were working Tunisian simple stitch, but we don't yarn over with the green. We place the loop with the second color on the hook and pull up a loop with the blue. Okay, now what I like to do is now I turn my work back like so, and I wrap the new color, the end that is still joined to your yarn or ball of yarn. I'll wrap it around the two strands that are at the two other strands that are at the back to secure it. Okay, so this will be the short end from the blue and the green color. You wrap it, and I go into the next stitch, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Okay, and what this does, it secures the other two strands. It secures them under this, if you can see that, under that loop. So if we don't do that, if we don't cross over our colors as we change them in the middle of the row, you would get a hole in the middle of your project. And depending on how tight your gauge is or your tension, this would show up as a small hole or as a big gaping hole. So it's a good practice to remember that you need to always cross over your colors as you change them. So I'm going to demonstrate it a few more times. So now we are going to continue the row with the blue. So I'll do a few more stitches before I get to the end of the row. Again, we will do the edge stitch or the end stitch under two strands of yarn. Now we are going to be working our standard return pass until we get to the stitches where the first is in your second color and the consecutive stitch is in the first color. So what we do now, I drop the blue like so, I pick up the green, and I work the green over the blue. Okay, so I don't leave the blue hanging here on the side picking up the green, because again this would create a hole in the project. So what I do, I take the blue, cross it over, take the green, and I cross this over the blue. So when I work the stitch, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, you can see that the green secured the blue under that loop, which will prevent the creating of the hole in the project. So we will work to the end of the row, and let's say I want to repeat that color work again, once again. So I'm going to be going into the first 3 and 4 stitches with green. Now when I get to the section where I was changing colors, as you can see, this stitch is quite large in comparison to the rest of the stitches on either side, so you can always adjust it. You can take the short end of the yarn where you joined it, and you just tightly and gently, rather gently, pull on it, and that adjusts your size. What you don't want to do as well is you don't want to have the stitches, these two stitches which have different color, to be tightly packed really close to each other. So I would advise to work these two stitches just ever so slightly looser, so you don't, because naturally you would have a tendency to tighten the yarn around these two stitches, which would bring them together and it would not create an even tension across the row. Okay, so what I do, I turn my back work back again. I put the green one forward, I cross it over, pick up the blue, need to cross over the green to make sure that I close any hole that would be created there. Work into the blue stitches, and again I'm not going to be tightening these loops. I'm not going to be pulling on the green too tight where I would bring the stitches together, because as you can see now the tension on this in this section is different, and it would show, especially if you work more colors. That section where you change colors would always be much tighter, and this would impact the size of your project as well and the way it looks. So you just try your best to maintain the gauge and not pull on the yarn too tight in the section where you change colors. Then you continue with your second color to the end of the row, like so. Work return pass. Again, once we get to the 2 stitches where the first one is in the old color, the second is in the new color, that's where we need to change colors back to green. So we turn the work back, cross over the blue, pick up the green, yarn over, pull through 2, like so. Okay, as you can see, now we've got a nice neat differentiation between these 2 colors. We can just adjust the transition between the 2 colors. Just gently pull on the blue where we've done the yarn over, pull through 2. If the chain is too big, this would create a gap, so we just wanted even tension with the rest of the row. Okay, so this is the first type of color work in Tunisian crochet, where we change color in the middle of the row. So I'm going to go ahead and work 1 row in green only, and then we will work the next type of color work where we alternate the colors on forward and return pass. So in the meantime, I made another row of Tunisian simple stitch in green to separate the 2 sections, and now we are going to go into the color work. So I will start, because I have the green attached at the beginning of the row, I'm going to work the first forward pass in green. So we will work the desired number of Tunisian simple stitches. Once we get to the end of the row, that's where we will be joining the blue color. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row, and I've got the last stitch, I've got the end stitch done. Now the little trick how to make the end of the row, the last stitches, the end stitches look the same, is that we will introduce another loop onto the hook. So normal standard written pass is yarn over and chain 1, or yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. However, when we change colors, this would distort the end of the row. So what we can do, we can introduce another loop on the hook, like so. So we will just take the green color and yarn over from front to back. We secure the strand of yarn at the end, at the back. This will create another loop on the hook. So we will not start the return pass with chain 1, but we'll go right into yarn over, pull through 2. I place it on the hook, like so, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, I will then continue with my return pass as normal, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way to the beginning of the row. So what we are doing, we are making the return pass in the contrasting color. Now we continue with blue for the next row, working your forward pass in the next row. Okay, so we are not detaching the color, we're not cutting the yarn, we are continuing the forward pass with the blue, working Tunisian simple stitches. So in this demonstration it's Tunisian simple stitches, but you can also work any other types of Tunisian stitches that are in your project. For the simplicity, as the Tunisian simple stitch is the easiest one, I'm going to be working this in Tunisian simple stitch. So now when we get to the end of the row, we work under the 2 strands that are there, pull up a loop like so, and now we need to change back to green. But again, because we are changing colors and this would slightly distort the look of the edge stitches, we again are going to introduce extra loop. So wrap the yarn from front to back, hold it there, pick up your green, and we'll go right into yarn over, pull through 2, like so. And you can already see the effects that it's creating, where you've got the forward pass in different color to the return pass, and then you continue working with the yarn with the color that is attached to the beginning of the row, and then at the end of the row you will be changing to different color. Okay, so this is the second type of your color work. The next section we are going to be looking how to do the forward pass in one color and return pass in other color. Welcome back. So now we'll be looking at the next type of color work, which is we will be working the forward pass in one color, like so. And now we get to the end of the row and we will change to our second color. So again, we'll wrap the yarn from front to back to introduce an extra loop. We pick up our contrasting color and we'll go right into yarn over, pull through 2, like so, and yarn over, pull through 2 to the end of the row. So we brought the second color into the beginning of the row. However, now we want to continue with the green. So there are 2 options as to what to do. You can be working from the outside and inside of your yarn, and you can be cutting the yarn when you get to the end of the row and then reattaching it to the beginning of the row. The advantage of this is that it's fairly simple and there's not much to it. However, disadvantage is that you will have numerous ends at each row and then you will need to sew them in. So if you like sewing your yarn in, then you can go ahead and work that. However, not everyone likes to sew thousands of ends per project. So another option what to do is to carry the yarn at the back of your work. So the advantage is that you will have less ends to sew in. However, the project will bulk up in that section, and the reason why is because you will have 2 strands of yarn going forward and backward. So this is something to consider. Okay, so now, or you don't have to, if it's something that is an inside of a project where the loose ends are not a problem, you can always just bring the yarn from end to front and start working your next row in the forward pass in your main color. However, in some projects like blankets for babies, you don't want to have loose strands at the back of your work because those little fingers can get tangled easily in your project. But if it's something like the inside of a hat or inside of a pillow where you know you're going to be sewing the pillow and the only thing that is inside is going to be the pillow insert, then that's not an issue, and you can have a loose strands there. So I will be showing you how to carry your yarn in your colorwork projects in the next tutorial on stranded colorwork. So you will see how to carry the strands at the back next time. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this tutorial on Tunisian crochet colorwork useful. If so, let me know in the comments section below. Have you ever tried Tunisian crochet colorwork? Have you done projects where you were changing colors? What method do you prefer? What color effect do you like the most? If you are interested in trying out some projects with Tunisian crochet colorwork, I have quite a few on my blog www.exquisitecrochetuk.com, and I will leave links to some of these in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.